All right. It's up. It's up and it's stuck. Rep your city, rep your city. You know I'm representing Chicago, Illinois, aka Chi-Town. You know what it is. Rep your city, represent your city. Here we go. I was supposed to talk about this morning, but I went out and didn't make it back in time. So I put it off until now. A lot of you all know that I've started a news program over here, Vista News. I'm going to cover a lot of different topics. I just started out with the war first. I felt like it was the most important thing, unless it's an emergency. I'll cover weather and stuff like that. But eventually I'm going to branch off into all the news, not just any news, though. It has to be major. And so I've been talking about the war. And that's what led to this conversation. You know what I mean? So yeah, hit that like button, share, subscribe. Come on in. Hit the notification bell. Let's try to make those likes match how many people's here. 30 people. Let's get at least 25 likes. That's what pushed this information out into the world. This is some real important information, especially right now in these times. There's certain conversations I do not cover too much because of what I'm about to tell you all. You have to make sure you be careful not to put a target on your back. I'm going to talk about that. Social media is an excellent way to do surveillance on the public. So come on in, represent your city. We got San Jose in the building. Everybody on Kick, Twitch, YouTube, X. I am representing Chicago, Illinois, aka Chi-Town. I love giving out the shouts to the city, all the various cities you come from. So that's why I say rep your city. Always show your city some love, you know? That's where you eat at. That's where you earn a living at. A lot of times that's where you have your relationship at. That's where you raise your children at. Sometimes that's even where your parents are at. Champs. Where's that at? That's in Trinidad. We got the beautiful lady Linus representing Houston, Texas. They say everything's bigger in Texas. That's one of the main states I'm really Anxious to get to Texas. Oh, okay, that's you in Trinidad. Tell all the Trinidadians I said big up they self. I was going to move to Trinidad when I was like 81 years old. I mean, 1981. Yeah, like 1981. I was gonna move to Trinidad. I was like 23. I was gonna move to Trinidad with some brethren. We was gonna build a boat and go to Africa on our own vessel, which it don't sound like no good idea now, but we thought so. We was young and adventurous. My brethren, Kashba and I Roots. I wonder where I Rootsing is at, and Kashba. I haven't seen him in a while. I've been outside, but in different locations. I haven't been going to the spots that I used to go to. Yeah, my boy married a Trinidadian. She was cool. I was trying to holler at her sister for a minute, but I think she was going through something. The ocean waves are worse, but there are certain patterns where it's smooth at. So even though it's an ocean, there'll be a section like a river in the ocean. A lot of people don't know that. So there'll be spots where there's like a river in the ocean. And that's where you got to go across that. Yeah, there's spots you can still cross. There's some white dudes that left West Africa and went all the way to South America in like a sailboat with no problems. It's a current. There's certain currents. Good to see you, April. There's certain currents, and you catch that current, it'll take you right across. But you got to catch that current. Come on in, you all. Hit the like button, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, support the channel. Yeah, I was supposed to talk about this earlier. I set it up. I end up running around, working out, and going to sleep. But I was too late to do it anyway, I think. I had forgot about it. I got busy cooking, eating, working out. My cousin came through. I rode around with him. And when I got back, I had forgot. I went right to sleep. And I think I still had time to do it too. I didn't even remember. It was crazy. My sleep been crazy anyway since I'm on this hard, heavy workout. This workout is different. This workout is. I don't think the workout would be so bad if it wasn't for the food too. The combination is at my age at 68 to be bodybuilding, then I got to eat more. And I'm a plant-based vegan. I've been a vegan for 48 years. So I don't eat a lot. So I've been having to force myself to change and eat more to try to build muscle. So it's making me have a whole different type of sleep. It's a crazy sleep. It's not a normal sleep, that's for sure. You see, you have sleepy and you have tired, both. Most people think tired and sleepy is the same thing. And just because you get some sleep, that doesn't mean you still don't need rest. Rest is from being tired. Sleep is from being sleepy. They're two different things. And so when I'm working out and stuff like that, even though I get enough sleep, when I wake up, I'm not really ready to get up like that necessarily. So I be done got plenty of sleep, but my muscles still be resting. So I'll kind of lay around for a while sometimes until I can feel my energy ready to go. Yeah, I'm eating more. I'm trying to build muscle. I've been working out for some years, but I wasn't bodybuilding. I was just exercise, getting tone. You build some muscle, but it's different than bodybuilding. Is totally different. So I've been just focusing on upper body. I'll do a little lower, but I've just been mostly focusing on upper body. And now I'm going to go with legs and abs, legs, lower body. But it's a different type of sleep, though. Oh, the thing is this white G53. The muscle take like 2 days. 2 days after you finish working out, that's when you get the growth afterwards. But if you don't put nothing in there ain't nothing to grow. So if you're not getting all your vitamins, every multiple, you got to get all your vitamins in your multiple and also extras. If you're not putting all of that in, there's nothing to grow. So in order for the next 2 days after you have a hard workout, in order for you to grow with what? So you have to put all of this food in there to grow. It's going to take a certain amount of potassium, vitamin C, vitamin D, magnesium, lots of protein. If you ain't putting no protein in, you ain't growing. Semen retention. So you really can't be having sex like that. It's a lot. So yeah, come on in. We're going to talk about this because in times of war, you better watch what you post on social media. That's for sure. And since I've been talking about the war, I've been seeing some people trying to get arrested, trying to wind up in the interrogation chair. I just been looking at them. And some of them, they probably figured, do they got free speech? I'll be trying to block the comments to prevent my subscribers from agreeing. So they say certain things, and before anybody can make a mistake and agree with that statement, I delete it. Some people believe that they can live in a country that's at war and cheer against the country where they live at during the war. I'll just be shaking my head. Especially in a war like this war. I'll be saying, you know what, some of these people crazy. One of the biggest problems with some people with this war is they don't like Trump. So they let that energy against Trump get them caught up in the war. Because I had people wanting me to be anti-American in the war. Maybe it's because they don't like Trump. I couldn't believe they lacked the intelligence to know the difference. One or the other, they could be the law, yep. But I can't understand mixing the two together. I talked about it with a friend of mine the other day, and he was like, oh, and he kept saying, Trump this, Trump that. And I told him, I gave him an example. I was like, okay, like, he's into it with a friend of his, but they still friends, but he into it with him. And I asked him, I said, so if your friend that you're really not happy with right now, you telling me that if he got in a fight, you would cheer against him? He said, I didn't think about it like that. I'm just saying. At what point in a war am I going to cheer against the citizens in America because I don't like Trump? Just let that sink in. You don't like Trump. We go get in a war. You, the whole time during the war, you talk against the war, but you live where you could be a target. You know how slow you got to be to live in a country where you could be a target and you cheer to be the target? This is the craziest. And in this situation, I feel like it's more dangerous than ever to speak against the United States if you live in the United States. You got to be, you don't know too much of nothing. You got to be done lost your mind. Now, that's not the same as protesters protesting the war and getting together and saying, you know, they don't want no war. That's fair. But in a situation where I'm discussing the war, and I've had people saying crazy stuff like, yeah, they putting belt to A on the U.S. And they have Americans, and they is seen to be happy at any American strike on America that damaged the country they live in. And I'd seen some dudes, and I said to myself, I would never, ever be around a dude like that. I would never hang with you for like a half a second. If I knew who you were, when you start walking up, I'll walk away. And no way. Something got to be wrong with you. You have to be totally out your mind. But I be telling the news, so when I'm doing the news, I'm not like on Pharaoh said that, like now. So I'm doing the news. It's just, hey, this happened, this happened, this happened, this happened, this happened, that happened, that happened, that happened. That's the news. That's it. I don't debate because that's not news. Debating and all this extra discussion is the main reason I don't watch the news, because the news is no longer the news. They should just call it opinion. You're watching opinions. That's what they should call it, because it's all opinions and no news. Bro, we just want to know what happened. We don't care what you think about it. You can't watch CBS, NBC, ABC, Fox. None of them do the news. And I think they've ruined the people. Some of them people been watching that stuff, so that's why they act like that. The mainstream media has ruined the younger generation. They don't know what news is. They think news is what they be doing. That's not news. And the sad thing, they don't have the respect enough to tell the news in the news. And then if you want to do that stuff, have another segment where we know, okay, this is not the news, this is discussion. No, they'll be like, welcome to CBS News. And then they'll get to talking. I don't think CBS do it too much. They still try to, but them other ones, them MSNBC, CNN, oh God, what the hell is CNN? No news, all opinion. Just crazy. It's like, this is not the news. And they'll do so much opinion that they ain't even told you all the news. I like, it's more news than that, but they want to just jump to the opinion. So they don't tell all the news. But I've been seeing these dudes, they've been coming in there saying some crazy stuff, like cheering against America, like cheering. I'm like, this person's crazy. You got to be out your mind to get on social media in this war and show any excitement for any losses the United States take. You got to be crazy. First off, you can take a loss if you live here. Second, third, and fourth is you ain't the brightest bulb in the lamp. Now, let me break down to you all why, especially in this circumstances, don't show any signs of being against the United States on social media. Listen to me, I'm telling you. Now, I'm going to tell you why. The war is over in Iran. Israel's over there. Jordan's over there. Saudi Arabia's over there. Qatar, all those places over there, and they're getting hit. Iraq is having a couple problems now, too. So they over there having this war. And the United States is way over here. So the United States is the main dog in the fight, and the war way over here. Here's the war, here's the United States. The United States is over there hitting Iran's infrastructure, hitting them. Iran is hitting back Israel. Iran is hitting certain American infrastructure that's there, but they're not hitting America. So when people say America's losing, America's not over there. So America can't take these losses that some of these slow men that have no military mind state don't really understand what's going on. Technically, America ain't taking no losses. America's over here. America's not over there. So no matter what they do over there, that's going to be limited unless a bunch of soldiers or something get unalived. But they ain't even no soldiers getting unalived or nothing. They shot down the plane, and people talk about they putting belt to. I don't even like that. I don't like that because me, you know, people losing their lives and to be talking about it like it's a boxing match or something is tasteless anyway. So even though I'm a United States citizen and I support the U.S., I'm not going to cheer for none of those people to be unalived over there. Not the Iranians, not the people, because it's just regular people that ain't even involved with nothing political, that's just going to school, going to work, living their lives, losing their lives. So I'm not finna cheer under no circumstance in that type of a war. Because it's not a war where two armies is on the battlefield. This is a war where civilians are being hurt that ain't really got nothing to do with none of this. So cheering for America or against America, all that's tacky. All that's tacky. If you're somebody that would do that, I would never stand around you for 2 seconds. You got bad karma coming in your life and you're slow. But the point I'm trying to make is to make a significant dent, they would like nothing more than to strike on U.S. soil. So when I see people that's in the chat and all of that a lot of them, they talk like they're Americans or whatever, they don't understand that something bad could happen in the United States. Right? So one of the main parts of the war that nobody's seeing is America's effort to keep that off of the soil. There's a lot of energy behind the scenes to keep that off the soil. I know last week everybody seen the airport was all full and all that, and they brought in the National Guards that told you some type of story. If you believe that, I wasn't going to say nothing because I'm not going to snitch on the United States government. But I will tell you now, no, those airports were shut down for security purpose so no terrorists could just come over here and be going back and forth. That story was not real. Y'all really believe all them people's at them airports at the same time you having a war way over there and they can't strike you over here? That was to make sure they can't strike you over here. Shut the airport down. Nobody can't come over here and nobody can't leave. That's what that was. They're not going to tell you. Y'all really believe that story they told you why the airport was closed up last week like that? It just so happens that. Why? Because the biggest part of the war is not letting nothing happen on U.S. soil. So if you slow and you get on the internet and the federales see you cheering for Iran, you are a possible terrorist. They are watching you. And they might kick your door down. To all the brothers that ain't talking now, that be talking all that, and look like you cheering against the U.S., your door getting kicked in. I hope you know that. Oh, your door getting kicked in. You were a possible terrorist. In the eyes of the CIA and the FBI, I don't know what you're thinking. In the eyes of Homeland Security, they need to see you. They need to see you. And they got ways of seeing you without coming to see you. But they ain't going to forget that you was cheering against the country. He said, listen, to my subscribers that I be looking out for my subscribers, don't you get your ass on here and say nothing in favor of Iran or against the United States during this war. Because you going on a list that they ain't going to forget. And it don't matter who the president is. It's going to be the same CIA. You ain't going on the president's list. You're going on Homeland Security list, CIA list, FBI list, Secret Service. That's where you're going. And people, oh man, they doing this to America. America, people in America look like they was happy that America taking losses. I'm thinking, what the hell's wrong with you? Cause I got a military mindset. I know I will kick your door in, but I might not kick it in right now because I'm watching some serious stuff. But I'm watching you for sure. And the first chance I get, I'm kicking your door in. I'm kicking your mama's door in. I'm kicking your door in. If you're cheering against the United States in this war, and it come across my desk, I'm sending the agents to kick your door down. We need to talk to you. Because we need to find out where this hate coming from and how far do it go? How much do you hate the US? What is you willing to do? Has anybody approached you? Because the other side will approach you too. Meaning, if I am a terrorist organization and I see you hate the country and you live over here, I might have to send somebody to talk to you. You might be beneficial to us. I might be able to manipulate your hate. Now imagine if you're a Muslim. You know how slow you got to be a Muslim and be over here cheering against the United States? If you're not, and they see you, and you live in some other country, you ain't never coming here. They'll never let you in the country. Never. You just blackball you and your whole family. You ain't getting no visa. You ain't getting no visa, no passport to come in. Ain't no way. This is one of the highest terrorist levels of terrorist preparedness probably any of you all ever lived under. If you don't think the terror watch is at an all-time high right now, you're crazy. They know just like I know, them people wouldn't like nothing more than to have some type of strike on U.S. soil. And you got fools in the United States that if there was a strike in the U.S., they would cheer for it right on their damn social media. They'd be like, oh, see, they put a belt to ass on the United States. Yeah, that's what they would say. Slow. If you know somebody like that, talk like that, stay away from them. Slow, stay away from them. They not the brightest bulb in the lamp. You got to watch what you post on this social media in war times. See, they're young. They don't know about Pearl Harbor, Hiroshima, Nagasaki. They don't know about World War I and World War II. In Vietnam, a lot of those hippies that was talking too crazy, You know something happened to him, right? The news never knew. You know, if they was doing anything illegal, they got arrested. They got maxed out too. So you hear about the guy, he just had a couple of joints and they gave him 25 years. I bet they did give you 25 years. They seen you talking crazy. See what I'm talking about? This person been trolling the hell out of me. Why? Why you want to know? What's the benefit in telling talking to you about it? For what purpose? What's the purpose of your question? What's the purpose of your question? Who are you and why should I answer that question to you? You're not a real name. You got no picture here. You got a fake name here. Why are you trying to ask me something real with a fake profile? I don't know you. I don't know you. Where I know you from? It's a good example for y'all to see. That person right there been doing some strange stuff. Been saying strange, and you don't know who it is. You know what I'm saying? But the Secret Service know who it is. And if he's not a Fed or she or whatever it is, I don't know if they even live in the country. See what I'm saying? Don't talk to people like that. Don't talk to them. Don't answer no questions to people like that. And people like this, don't you talk to them. Don't talk to nobody like that. When somebody asks you something like that, you gotta ask yourself what's it to them? Why are they asking you that? You understand? What do they get out of my answer? If I get an answer, how does that benefit them? What you see what I'm saying? If there's no benefit to me answering that. See, there's no benefit. What's the benefit? If two countries go to war, it really ain't none of my business if the powers that be to run this country go to war. That's not none of my business. If the United States government go to war, that's not none of my business. That's the United States government. They doing whatever they do. That's not none of my business. When you're dealing with governments, they couldn't even tell you everything was really. They can't. They won't even tell you why this is happening. The United States government is not going to really lay out the tell the American people what's everything that's really going on like that. They can't do that. You see the Democratic Party, you see how quiet they been on the war? They ain't saying nothing. It's a couple of them saying, oh, call for impeachment and stuff like that. But you don't see them Democrats out there. You don't see them out there like that. You do not see the Democrats out there talking about this war. Y'all know the Democrats and the Republicans been beefing. Are they beefing right now? Not really. Y'all don't think it's kind of quiet between the parties? Y'all ain't noticed that? Let's say this person is slow because I'm just doing the news. And they want to come on my news and turn my news into opinion. I just told the news. And so when I'm doing the news, I never say what I think about the war. I just tell the news. But that person would come into the news and want me to tell personal opinions when it's the news. And I'm like, if the person in a eighth grader know the difference between the news and opinions, I would think. This is one of the people that I'm just telling the news and they want me to be to tell opinions when it's the news. I see what's going on, I report what's going on, and I move. I don't put my opinion in it. I had to constantly block this person, ruining my news channel, wanting my news channel to be personal, with a fake name, a microphone, no identity or nothing. Just ain't really been watching me until I started talking about the war. Never seen them before till I started talking about the war. So it's perfect that they came. I'm showing you. Don't talk to nobody like that. You don't know what that is, who that is, or what their motives is. What you do know, there ain't no good motives, whether it's accidentally or permanent or purposely. And he don't have no. That person don't have no good intentions. That's for sure. It's either some espionage type stuff or one or the other, because nobody else is obsessive like that. I like that person. So that was good. I'm just letting you know. What I could tell you about a war is all is fair in love and war. So when people start talking about what's fair and what's this and that in a war, uh, so when y'all get on social media concerning this war, this is what you always got to remember when it's something serious like this, where you know one side of the war is highly involved in terrorism. You know that. So you don't touch that because that's not a typical war. That's the whole different war. In that war, everybody's being looked at as a possible threat, not just the soldiers. So you know what you do? You better mind your business. That's what you better do. If you don't, you're going to be just like this in this picture. Speaking on something that's a state of national security. And when there's a state of national security and you seem to be a threat to national security, you got a problem. You got a problem. So I'm not really doing a lot of speaking on the war as far as my thoughts about the actual war. I'm just doing the news. You know what I'm saying? My name Wes. You know what I'm saying? Boy, I'm not boy, listen, I don't got no opinion on that. I'm giving y'all game. My name Wes. I ain't in that mess. I don't got no opinion on no war, especially when the other country is involved with terrorist type. No, I don't know nothing. You understand? All I can tell you is this happened, this happened. I'm telling what happened on either side. Everything that happens. If there's an explosion at this side, I tell it. There's an explosion in Lebanon, I tell it. Qatar, I tell whatever happened, I just tell it. I do not put my personal views in the war, especially when I live in one of the countries that's in the war. I don't know nothing. I'm not saying nothing. And if I have to say something and you ask me who I support, I live in Chicago, Illinois, United States of America. I support the United States of America. Duh. Okay. That's real easy, right? I had some people from America ask me why I support America, as if they don't know that if they blow up America, they could blow me up. Why would I want to get blowed up? Why would I cheer for Iran? Yeah, Iran, blow me up, blow me up. Make that make some sense. Why would I want Iran to blow me up? No, I want Iran to lose. It's real simple. I don't say that on my news, but this ain't my news. I'll tell you, okay, this is Iran, this is the US. I'm in Iran. I'm in the US and I'm not in Iran. It's real simple for me. I'm secure the United States. Nothing happened in the United States. If something gonna happen, let it happen in Iran, where I'm not at. Self-preservation is the goal. I was in no branch of the military because when I got old enough to go to Vietnam, they ended the war. They ended the war, Kim. My mother worked for a selective service. She was the one who sent people to the war. When I was in high school, I think my junior year, they ended the war and ended the draft. But my mother worked for the draft board, and she was the person that people had to come see to file for the draft. And as a matter of fact, my mother worked for the draft board at the Chicago Seven. Remember when they went in and took all the draft papers and those hippies? That was here at my mother's job. Me and my father and my mother and my sister was the first one besides the police to see this because it was closed. And that street right there, that's Damon. And to your right is my mother's favorite ice cream shop because they the only ones had black walnut. So I think it was a Sunday. My daddy was taking his lovely wife to get her favorite ice cream. We pulled up and all the draft papers was burnt up in the thing. Not really. That type of situation, that's something you gotta come make me do. You know how it go, right? You know how it go. You're a grown person. You're supposed to go watch something else. Now, when it comes somebody shutting up, if you really that, you got to come and make me shut up. You know what I'm saying? Which you don't got the power to do. So you looking kind of feminine typing that. Like that's feminine. You looking feminine. Okay? That's what you're looking like. You're looking feminine. You can't even talk. You just got to type. I don't even have to tell you to shut up because all you can do is this. You know what I'm saying? I don't need no military experience to talk about the war. You sound crazy. How much military experience do the president have? Hey, look, the president sent him to war, right? These are some slow people, right? Kim Johnson is slow as hell. Listen, it's saying I can't speak on the war. I got no military experience. The presidents talk about the war every night and actually sending people to war. Does the president have military experience? Bruh, you're slow. You slow. Come back tomorrow, though. Come back tomorrow. Hey, there's some crazy people in the United States. He said I shouldn't talk about it because I don't got no military experience. And Trump is all on the news talking about it. He the president for this country. I tell you. Make that make some sense. He said the news, and then he said, and I'm not even talking about war. I'm talking about being on social media and not running your mouth. You understand? He ain't. Listen, he been to the military and he would not walk up to me talking crazy. You know what I'm saying? They do not call the city Chirac for nothing. You understand? I don't need to be in the military. You know what I'm saying? I don't need to be in the military. But that'd be the worst mistake you ever made in your life. Walk up to me talking crazy. When you was in the military and then bust a grape, he ain't did. If he was in the military, a Kim, I don't know if that's a Kim. I don't know if that's a Korean Kim or a lady Kim. I don't know who Kim Johnson is in 6U. If you're a female and you cute and I meet you, I might give you a pass. If you're a dude, you must be from Korea. He ain't nobody. Kim ain't nothing. Probably got triggered when I said don't be going against Trump or whatever or talking. Some triggered him. That doesn't represent no strong military soldier having a conniption fit on social media. That ain't soldier like. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing about that. That's militant or military. like he's a military typer. What the hell? I ain't been in the military. Mm-mm. My father was in the military. My father was stationed in Korea and Germany. My mother sent a lot of people to the military. I probably wouldn't have went because my mother probably would have showed me how to not go. That didn't make much sense, so it didn't make too much sense to me. So it was weird. It's more weird than anything. They ain't been in the military. Not me or Trump. What the hell? Hardly nobody's going to the military now because they can't pass the exam. They're trying to figure out how to get all these overweight people to pass the exam. But yeah, in times of war, you got to watch what you say on social media. Now, if that person been in a war, they ain't been to the war during these particular social media times. So they the one need to shut up. Because right now with TikTok and all this, what I'm saying is based on ain't based on being in the military. This is based on social media. This whole conversation. This whole conversation is not based on military experience. This whole conversation is based on social media and knowing what to say and knowing what not to say. On top of that, if I was an agent and I had lots of federal experience, I wouldn't tell, right? Let's think about if I was a CIA or FBI agent, I wouldn't tell him, would I? There is military services where you can't tell nobody. You know that, right? There is positions in the military where you cannot tell anybody that you was in it. So he's not really military minded like that. And being in the military has nothing to do with this conversation. You know, this conversation is about. I'm trying to tell my audience that you don't know how far this is going to go. You don't want to be on here saying the wrong thing in case there's some type of terrorist attack. And if it is, they're pulling everybody. They'll be very paranoid. And you don't want to be under no investigations. A lot of people in the 60s was under investigation. Yeah. A lot of people be under secret investigation. That's why they had to come out with the Freedom of Information Act. One guy, they followed him like 20, 30 years just because he wore a red beret. And so I just wanted to let my audience know in this type of situation, in a war, right? Don't speak on it on social media. Definitely don't speak against it. I wouldn't speak for it either because then you could be a target of a terrorist attack. You see, you don't want no attention from either side right now. That's what I would say. And especially in a situation where people's losing their lives, you know, to, you know what I mean? Yeah, it could get you marked out. Yeah, you become a target. You'll become a target. You don't want to be a target, and then you don't know how bad or how far this is going to go, how long this is going to last, what levels of security is going to be needed. Yeah, Rita Franklin was under a secret investigation. As a matter of fact, they hired Elvis Presley. Elvis Presley worked for the feds to watch musicians. Elvis Presley worked for the feds. He was a federal agent. They watched all the musicians, the Mamas and the Papas, Jimi Hendrix, all of them. All of them was under heavy investigation. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, they'd be watching. In a situation like this, where the countries where, over in Iraq and over there, they got all them terrorists over there. Oh, yeah. Under this particular thing, you really got to be careful. They coming for you. You say the wrong thing for this war right here. If you putting out the wrong thing on social media and stuff like that, anti-American propaganda, boy, you going to prison. Ain't no Democrats gonna save you for that. Oh no, you going bye-bye. You say the wrong thing during an active war, man, you going bye-bye. Especially if something happened. When my mother was a little girl and that situation happened with Japan, right? Do you know down South Alabama down there, do you know every night they had to turn all their lights out before 7 o'clock? This my mother was a little girl. They had to turn all the lights out before 7 o'clock. Because they was into it with Japan and Germany, but Japan was the problem. Japan breached America from the West Coast and bombed a bunch of stuff. Look it up. So all lights had to be out by 7. And my mother said if you left your lights on, federal agents would come kick your door and take you to prison. Say you was a spy, signaling planes. They wanted all the lights out. That way, if enemy bombers would be flying, they wouldn't be able to see where civilization was or wouldn't be able to see nothing because they had them old planes and they couldn't fly too low to the ground. Right? So everybody had to turn their lights up because they didn't want the Germans or the Japanese to know where they was at when they was flying. If they fly over and see a bunch of lights, they know people live there and they'll bomb it. But if everything's black, they don't know what to bomb. And my mother said, if them lights wasn't off, the feds would kick your door down and arrest you as being a spy. They say you was signaling the enemy plane. Real talk. When my mother was born in 1935. My dad was born in 1931. Real talk. It's not a joke. Real talk. Like when there's war, like I'm telling y'all something real. I know for a fact when there's war, you can't say the wrong things. Yeah, everybody to turn their lights off. Lights out. So the enemy plane can't see where there's no civilization, can't see where nobody live at. Chicago, black. LA, black. All the cities, black. Lights out. Whole country, black. Whole country, black. So when they fly over, they don't know where the people live at. You say the wrong thing back then, you go into federal prison, period. You let an American hear you say the wrong thing, they go call the feds. They kicking your door in. Now, if you don't think they'll do that on this social, you don't think they watching this social media, man, say the wrong thing. I bet you go to prison. You going to federal prison too. They don't need much. You just going to prison because they say so. And their interrogation, remember they banned waterboarding? You don't want to play with nothing like this. I just wanted my audience to know, stay out of this with your personal, say nothing personal about no side. Just talk about what happened. Oh, this happened, that happened. But as far as your personal feelings about this side or that side, just don't say it. And if you have to, always be on America's side. Don't speak against the United States while this is going on. Any questions or things I got to say about how this all happened, I would make those after this is over. And if this was over, I'd be able to say, oh, he shouldn't have did this, he shouldn't have did that. That won't be no threat. But saying anything like that now during an active war where America's on the highest red alert in you all's lifetime, there haven't been no alert this high since 9/11. And there hasn't been this type of social media ever. They won't call you nothing. They'll just lock your ass up. They ain't calling you nothing. They're not calling you nothing. They're not. It's not going to be no report on you or nothing. You just going to be gone. They just going to come and grab you and you just going to be gone. You be lucky if any news people talk to your relatives and you just gone. And they not going to know where you at. You're gone. And unless you can prove to them you not no threat, you're going to stay gone. You're going to stay gone. Because you're speaking on something and now you are really a threat. They want to know what size your bread buttered on. Can you be compromised? Because if I get on here talking against the United States right now, they'll be like, well, he could be compromised. What if them people over there hear him and approach him? Let me take a break. Let's take a break and we'll finish. I don't know where you live at. Where you live? Where you live at? What city you live in? Okay. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I know, but I'll put it to you like this. He said, I don't understand why Trump keeps saying we don't need anything in Iran and all objectives have been met, but he won't withdraw the troops. I will speak on this. He not gonna tell the truth on social media. You gotta understand when he's talking, right? His enemy is listening. So he is gonna say just anything. That's why people say, if you watch him, he say this, then he say that, then he say this, then he say that. That's done on purpose. He not finna tell the truth at all. He not gonna tell the truth because he's talking to the enemy. He not telling them nothing. He in the hood, what we call it. He doing what to them? He's spinning them. You know, all right? That's what's going on. So you can't listen to him. It's confusing, exactly, and it's confusing to who? To us and to who else? Is it confusing to the Iranian regime? Yes. There's your answer. It's confusing. Exactly. It's confusing, right? Do him being confusing make sense during a war? Yes. He not finna tell them what he finna do or nothing like that. He not telling them nothing. When he get on the news, he's spinning everybody. He not going to tell no truth. Nothing is the truth. He's not telling no truth. And that's all I can say because I can't break down what he say because they're not snitching. See what I'm trying to tell y'all? I can't break down the details because that's snitching. They'll be like, shut your ass up. See? So I'm telling you in the Vegas where I can, but I can't go into details of that because if he don't want nobody to know what he's talking about, why would I turn around and tell? You understand? Do I think a draft is a possibility? A draft is a definite. Y'all going to war. He finna draft. Y'all getting drafted. The draft is coming. The draft is coming. They just been trying to figure out a way to get people to lose weight because too many of the young people is fat and out of shape and can't pass the test they got to take. They can't even pass. They can't even run a half a block. So they're probably gonna have you training about maybe a year before you're really officially ready to go to the next level. I don't know. You got to ask them. What I can tell you is you can't say they won't draft them. They absolutely gonna draft them, but they're gonna draft all of y'all. They definitely, and young black men with all that violence in the black community and all that shooting y'all doing. Oh, they definitely drafting you. Don't stop shooting them. All that drilling the young black men doing. Basic trains about 10 weeks. They're gonna have to stretch that because uh, they too fat. Here go another one. Here's another. Here's another one. That's all you do. Ain't no way I listen to you. Boy, I listen to you. Before I listen to you, I got a brand new watch for sale. for $39. You can get it right now. Well, I'm not listening to you. Come on. I'm not listening to you. Yeah. Yeah, they finna bring the draft back. Yeah, they finna bring the draft back. Yeah. Yeah, they finna bring the draft back for sure. Yeah, they finna draft. If your crimes ain't too bad, you know what I'm saying? If your crimes ain't too bad, they gonna draft you. But they got to try to figure out a way. You know what I'm saying? To make them get that weight off of them. You know what I'm saying? Because they ain't in no kind of shape. You know what I'm saying? They got to figure out how they're gonna get that weight off of. Nearly 70% of U.S. active duty service members are overweight or obese, severely impacting military readiness, increasing injury rates, and challenging recruitment. The Department of Defense requires specific body composition standards, typically targeting body fat percentages around 28% for men, 36% for women. New stricter directives mandate faster separation from those failing weight height standards. So they ain't been able to get nobody in it. They ain't been able to get nobody. They ain't been able to get nobody to be in shape. It's the most out of shape uh, young people in the history of the country. They ain't in no type of shape. But all they gonna do is change the basic training and be stricter. But they coming to get them. Yeah, that's probably gonna kick off this summer, and that's no matter who's the president. Even when Trump's out of office, they're bringing back the draft. If you ain't did nothing too bad, they'll let you out of prison. If you're in trouble, you got a case. The Army gonna show up, the Navy, the Marines, the Air Force gonna show up. Hey, will you come sign up with us? And we'll have this case drawn out. They've been working on that now for about 2 years. I'll do an update on it. I've been waiting to do an update. Illegal immigrants, you want to stay? You got to go to the military or get out. So yeah, they definitely finna draft. There's no ifs, ands, but They're going to send whites too. They're going to send everybody. They ain't going to discriminate. They're going to send. They don't care nothing about you white. You going. You going. You're going to have to, soon as you turn 18, you're going to have to go register. You're going to have to register. They're going to make that women will be able to register, but they won't go into combat. They won't go into combat unless they got like special training. But you ain't going to get no choice. No, the draft is mandatory. When I was growing up, the draft was mandatory. I told you my mother worked there. No, the draft is mandatory. 18, you register. Yeah. On your 18, you register. Period. Ain't none of that. That's the difference between being able to enlist and draft. To draft means drafted. It don't mean you get to pick. Yeah, the draft. I told you my mother worked for the draft board. My mother worked for the draft board. All the boys on the block would come see my mother. It's where they burnt up the draft papers. Now they got all that stuff. My mother helped them digitize all that stuff. To your left is where she worked. To the right was the ice cream place. Also, we was going. The place was closed this day. To the left, we would pull up in front of the car. She would come out. That's where I met presidents and vice presidents and post office generals and all the senators, congressmen. So my mama introduced me to me. Right, 1975 ended. I was a sophomore. Well, I was a junior. I was going to go to my senior year. Yeah, selective service. That's what my mother worked for, selective service. Right here in this building. That's the day they burnt all the papers up. We was there that day to get her some ice cream. And all the big boys used to come to my house and try to see if my mother could get them out of it. And back then, the only way you could get out of it, if you didn't have nothing physically wrong, you could be a preacher. And there was just certain classes you could take in college. Right? Only certain classes. It is definitely a federal offense. If you don't go, you go to prison. You go to prison. If you're a draft dodger, if you don't register, there's a warrant out for your arrest, and you go to prison. People would run across the border to Canada. A lot of the white hippies and stuff. A lot of the blacks in the gangs, like the Blackstone Rangers, they would like, if it was time for me to be drafted, I go steal a car. I had one of the guys upstairs call the police, and I just drive real fast up and down the block till I get arrested. And then they wouldn't draft you for certain criminal offenses. So they used to steal cars and call the police on themselves. Real talk. That's when I was a little boy. All the big boys, everybody in our neighborhood, right before they turned 18, they'd come to my mama's house to see if my mama could get them out of it. My daddy's nephews, my daddy's nephew, his best friend didn't go. But he didn't do what my mother told him to do. His best friend went to college, took the right class, didn't go. but my daddy nephew, my uncle Adolf, cousin Adolf, he went because he didn't listen to me. He didn't do what my mama told him to do. There was only a couple ways you could get out of it. I think it used to be if you was the only male child, and if you had two boys couldn't go because I think some two white men or three triplets or twins or something or brothers was in the Navy and the ship got blown up and the man lost both of his sons. So they won't take both. It used to be they won't take both of your sons. They'll only take one. Are you a fuel hauler? That's good. You know what I mean? But you going though. Yeah, all these young dudes, they going. They going to the military. They almost went to Desert Storm. Some of the little young, the dudes that rap with me, they friends went. I know some youngers that went to that war in Iran. The Sullivan brothers, yeah, yeah, they made them change it because of them. Uh, yeah, some of the youngers went. I went to a couple parties before they went. Out in Harvey, they went. Some of them young brothers went. I went out there. Dude was like, "Yeah, bro, I'm finna go over. I'm finna lay him else down. I'm finna lay. Man, I can't wait till I get. I'm finna lay him down." I said, they was over there writing gang. Who seen the documentary of them writing gang graffiti all over Iran? They was writing gang graffiti all GD and Almighty Blackstone and stuff all over Iran. They was writing gang. Yeah, what's going on, Tiny? Yeah, but they finna how to drive. They bringing that back. Yeah, they was over there gang banging. He was in the Marine doing the Beirut explosion. Yup, I remember that too. Hey, tell them BPM, it ain't no joke, is it? It's not no joke with the military, not joking. I'm basically a military kid because, like I said, my mother worked for the Selective Service. That's how I got the job uh, at the Social Security. That's how I got the federal job at the Treasury Department. I worked for the U.S. Treasury Department because when we was little, my mother had me and my sister take the civil service exam. If they still got the civil service exam, go take it. And then if once you pass it, then they mail you jobs in the mail. Real talk. I wonder if they still do that. Probably. If you take the civil service exam for you young people that's looking for a way, if you take the civil service exam, they'll mail you jobs in the mail. The first one they sent me was out at the airport for something. I refused. It was too far. Then they sent me one for the Treasury Department downtown. They call you a civil servant. You're really a government employee. You work for the government. They pay good too, and every week you get a free day. Every week you get like a leave day, right? Once a week. So every month you get 4 days on top of your right. So if you work a long time and something happens, you got to take leave, and you didn't saved up about 5 months. You could take 5 months leave with pay. You know what I'm saying? Heck yeah, you get benefits. Hey, you make good money, man. Listen, you make money because you GS1, GS2, GS3, GS4, GS5, like that. My mom was like a GS25 or something like that. My mother was like at the top. No, yes, federal. They close on the weekend. They ain't open on Saturday and Sunday. I used to be a correspondence reviewer, so when you sent your letter, I would take the letter, put it in the basket for whichever agency, and send you a letter from that agency saying we received your letter. That's what I was. So I was getting CIA, FBI, all of them. I sent back Postal Service, Railroad Federal. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't know Railroad Federal. I wasn't none but I had my dreadlocks. I wasn't none but like I want to say I probably was 20, 19 or 20. Yeah, I was working for the Treasury Department. That's after I was working for the stock exchange. Then I went to the Treasury Department. Yeah, just take the civil service exam. hmm My mother was real high ranking up in there. I don't know. She was way up there. She had been working there since I was a baby, so she was way up there. I remember when I was driving, when I got on up to drive, I would take her to the airport. Say, get my briefcase out of there. That'd be two. It's a secret. It's a top secret. It's not back yet, but they're finna bring it back. Yeah, I think she was GS25. She was way up there. I remember being a little boy. I wish I would remember who all them people was. Go pick your mom up from work, and we just trying to go wherever daddy gonna take us afterwards. You know what I'm saying? And she like, come here, Michael. This president somebody. I'm like, hi. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? This vice president somebody. I didn't give a damn. I want to go get my ice cream. You know what I'm saying? They all knew me, but I didn't know them. Cause I don't care. You little. It's like this postmaster general, this the governor, this the senator, somebody. I'm like, hi, because we had to be nice, but I don't gotta remember who you is. You know what I'm saying? Cause I was real little. When I got older, I just was she was driving to work on her own and stuff. I had to go with her because my daddy used to go pick her up from work. He a bus driver, so he make his schedule where he could get her home first, then he go to work. Me and my sister, we get out, meet mommy coming downstairs. It's always some big politician, know our name, know our birthday, see the Fed, the government is the police, man. They know you don't know them, but they know your ass. No, Hot Wheels wasn't out yet. Uh, Hot Wheels wasn't out. You had to play with toys with your hand, GI Joe and shit. Yeah, Hot Wheels my cousin. He younger than me. Yeah, it wasn't on Hot Wheels. I had a racing car set though. I had a racing car set on the track, electric track. You put the cars on there. I had that and a train. I had the electric train. That electricity run through the tracks, or it's like a piece of metal on the racetrack. You put the car down there, right? Army men, GI Joe. Army man, GI Joe. Though everybody wanted GI Joe. that kind of stuff. That's the 60s. Yeah, I had the line. I still got that train. I still got that train. That train probably worth a fortune. I still got that train. Ain't no telling how much it's worth. I need to find out. I need to take it with me. I'm finna go. I think I'm finna go to Florida, New York to get appraisal on my George Clinton albums. Because I got all the George Clinton Parliament albums signed by George Clinton. I'm supposed to call dude today. I'm going to call him tomorrow. And I got to go see your appraisal. And I think they say I get like 20 stacks for them. But if I sell them one at a time, I'll make more. I'll just sell them at one time, boo. I mean, getting a job was easy because you just used to go to the personnel office. You didn't have to go online. You go to the personnel office, fill it out, you got a job. I got out of high school. I graduated Saturday. Sunday, my mama told me I was going to go to work with my auntie. Monday, my auntie took me down to WFR Printing Company. We went inside the personnel office. She said, my nephew want to work. Signed my name. I started that night. Yeah, I started that night. All it just said top secret. It was two of them. It was at the airport. I'm driving, so I'm 20 something probably. I'm probably 20. Get to the airport. She said, get my briefcase out. Trying to open that. Both said top secret. I was like, oh, my mom was a spy. One time she went out of town and the phone ring. I answered the phone. They said, may I speak to Bessie Stewart? I'm like, who's calling? He said, may I speak to Bessie Stewart? Who's calling? May I speak to Bessie Stewart? No, you can't speak to my mama. Call them all kind of names. Hung up. Pow. I was little too. I was probably about 17, 18. 17, 18, 19. Hung up. Wow. My mother get back from out of town. I pull up to pick her up from the airport. As soon as she get in the car. Hey, Mom, how was your trip? Don't hey, Mommy. Did somebody call you for me? I don't know what she talking about. It was about 2, 3 days. I'm like, huh? Did somebody call the phone, ask to speak to me? I'm like, oh, yeah, some man called, don't want to tell who he was. She like, food, I was Washington, D.C. When somebody called and asked for me, you just take a message. She said, that was Washington, D.C. They said, your son really protect his mama. That's what she said. Fool. She said, you didn't cuss. She like, you didn't cuss out. She didn't tell me who it was in Washington, D.C., but I got the message. I didn't cussed out somebody way up there. You know what I'm saying? And she was like, they said you really protect your mama. I'm like, I ain't know it was. It ain't none of your business who it is. She's like, okay, I got it. I ain't know my mom was a super secret agent. And she used to work, but then after they burnt up the draft papers, her position changed. So after this happened, her position changed. The lady that ran that retired, and my mama became, and Miss Stilwell was the boss of the whole Midwest. And she loved my mama. So Miss Stilwell, my mother became the whole Midwest, right? She became the whole Midwest, and now she was flying out of town because I think they were switching everything from digital once all these papers got burnt up. So from that point, when Miss Stilwell moved up, my mother was like flying around a lot. I think her position, like she ran the whole Midwest. So she was flying around a lot. That's by the time I get like 18, 19. Because when I was young, Miss Stilwell was still alive. So she became like to run the whole Midwest with. So I don't know what the hell they had her doing. I don't know what my sister do. I don't know what my sister do. My sister, you're younger than me. I don't know what she do. But whatever she tell me she do, I bet that ain't what she do. I don't know. I don't know what the hell. I don't know. I swear to God, I don't know what she do. I don't even listen to what she tried to tell me she do. I ain't listening to that. Okay. Real talk. I don't know what she do. She's some kind of agent. I tell you that. She just like her mama. Something like that. She just like her mama. Me, I was a hustler and an opportunist. I kept getting caught with greens and all that. I had warrants out because I didn't go to court. My mother called the feds and said, the police keep coming to my house looking for my son. They say, where he at? He is, I think he's in Hawaii. He might be in California. I don't know. They say, well, just call us when he get home. Nobody will come. She said, boy, them police kept coming to the house when I got back to Chicago. Them police kept coming to my house. I had to call the feds. I had to call the federal government. They said, just let them know when your black ass get in town. And they ain't nobody gonna come and show up. Sure enough, nobody didn't show up either. The feds was protecting me. That's why I say I had to be respectful too, because the feds know me was the size of a baby. They'd be like, he bogus as hell. The feds know me. The feds know everything. But especially if your family was in there like that, they don't never take that out for you or lose track like that. Once you in the system, you in there. Your kids in there, your grandkids in there. I'm telling you. The feds ain't no joke. I was hustling. You know what I'm saying? I was an entrepreneur. So when I realized I could sell and smoke for free, it was up. I wasn't no bad guy. I wasn't that type of criminal. I was real smart. That was that type of criminal. When you're too smart. So I mean, like, I could buy a lot of this and sell this and make money and smoke for free. Seriously, I was like, what? I think what the seventh grade where I realized what? I was like in the seventh grade. I realized, oh, I had so much money hid in my room when I was like a freshman. I had a whole lot of money. I had like $500-$600 hid in my room. That was a lot of money for a kid. In like 1971 and shit. 71, 72. I had bang. I almost got busted one time. Something was going on, and my daddy needed some money for something. And I went and gave him $400. He was like, boy, where you get this from? I had to think quick. Oh, I've been saving all my allowance money from last year and this year. He believed it. I was trying to help him. I almost hurt myself. Did he ever give me my money back? I don't think he gave me my money back. I think I had to charge that to the gang. I got it back up though. So that's what's up with that, y'all. On this social media, be careful. That's all. Be careful, okay? Be careful on this social media. Don't say anything anti-American. Nothing. Don't say nothing anti-American on this social media. Or don't type on it. Try not to talk about the war at all. If it don't go no further, so go back down, cool. I'm not saying that based on what's happening right now. I'm saying that based on the possibility on where this could go. Because if there's any attack in this country that be like serious, more serious than 9/11, where it's like actual terrorists in the country, a lot of them, and they activate, it's gonna be up. The Fed's gonna be on everybody bumper, especially Muslims. They gonna catch hell. I'm telling you. If they get any sales over here and anything start happening on U.S. turf, it's gonna go like, I ain't saying it's zero. I ain't gonna say 0 to 100 because right now we probably like at 40. But it's gonna get real crazy, and that's why I wanted to warn y'all because you don't want none of that stuff on none of your social media saying nothing about the war, nothing. Because they're gonna go dig all that stuff up, trying to look for who might be a spy, who might be a traitor, who might get approached by the sales. All that. You don't want to go through all that. You don't want to go through that. Don't even talk about this a lot. You could lose your job saying the wrong thing about this. You could get fired. You could lose your job. You don't even know why. You could lose certain things you got going on because you said something anti-American, and the person that run everything is a big pro-American person, and they find that out. You fired. See what I'm saying? So you don't want to pick no sides, make no enemies out here. Your name West. Stay out of that mess. I just wanted to tell y'all that. Just do like I'm doing. You don't see me really talking about that. I got the news channel. I tell what happened in the news. This what happened. This got attacked. That. That's it. My opinion, I don't got one. I don't got one. You don't even see me saying nothing, no whole bunch of pro-America, anti-Israel, anti-Iran. You don't see me saying none of that. And I don't want to be in that. I don't want America watching me. I don't want no terrorists watching me either. When I get on here, I be too anti-Iran, then next thing I got a problem. 400 back in 71, like 4,000 or 5,000 a day. 400 back then would be like like 1,500, about 1,500, 2,000 a day. Like 2,000 today. But maybe more. I got to think about that because a pair of Converse was $10. So yeah, I got to think about that. It might be like 4 racks. It was $100 then, like $1,000 a day. Yeah, you're right. You're about right. You know that? $100 was like $1,000. Oh, don't do no anti-American nothing. But you could protest for something you don't like in the country. It's a difference for like you protesting to legalize cannabis. That's different than protesting anti-American. You can protest for some changes. Like we want reparations. That's not anti-American. You got it. That's why when we be having like stuff like if we have a reparations rally, these anti-American people will show up at the rally and tank the whole rally. That's why you got to have security to escort them out. Now, we not on that. You know what I'm saying? They'll have spies come that's on something totally different to tank the whole thing. But we not anti-American. What are you talking about? You know, on the side note, don't never be anti-American. Be about making change. You know what I'm saying? You in America. So if you're American, you want to make change. You don't want to be anti. Everything that, especially foundational Black Americans, everything you got wasn't because of anti-American. It was about changing America. It wasn't about anti. It was about making changes. Like the Black Panthers and them, they wasn't anti-American. They was about change. They was about food programs and stuff for the kids and stuff like that. They wasn't no anti-American. No. They wasn't talking all crazy like that new Panther dude. You never see Fred and them talk like that. They wasn't talking crazy like that. They wasn't talking crazy like that. And then especially so the Muslims and stuff. You know what I'm saying? They tell all that stuff. Brothers in here, I know a lot of Muslim brothers in this country, for the Nation of Islam and Orthodox. They don't be talking no anti-American shit. They cool. That's just their religion. They don't deal with Islam politically. Islam not political. Islam is not political. They just ruining everything. And I ain't never known no Muslim brothers to be political. They religious. They don't do politics like that. They regular people. They just Muslims. They're trying to turn that. This is crazy. They should never do no type of a terrorist nothing and attach Islam to no type of terrorism. They shouldn't do that. They wrong. They wrong. They wrong for that. That's why it's a lot of brothers and sisters in the Middle East and Islamic people. They don't like that. They don't like Iran ain't carrying Islam right. I'm gonna tell you straight up. They not. They carrying it wrong. Like that ain't supposed to have nothing to do with your religion. You could fight for Iran, but that ain't got nothing to do with the religion, though. They ain't supposed to do that. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with them mixing religion with it. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. That's foul. That's foul. I don't agree with that. That ain't got nothing to do with Islam. No way, no kind of way. Come on, man. What that got to do with Islam? Nothing. Islam is a religious way of life. It's a way based on the traditions. That's it. It's not political. It ain't never been political. I don't know why they try to make it political. I don't understand that. That's messed up. Knowing it's a whole bunch of different types of Muslims, why would certain groups come out there and taint everybody? Have everybody thinking that Muslims is terrorists? That's crazy. Like, what? Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Like, why would you do that? That don't make no sense. As soon as brothers come around me, start talking some old radical stuff, and they trying to mix a religion with it, I ain't with it. I ain't with it. Don't mix no religion with that. Just be a radical group. Ain't no God, no radical like that. Like, that don't make no sense. So y'all just be careful, man. Watch what you post on social media. You know what I'm saying? Watch what you post on social media. Because right now you post the wrong thing, it's going down. I'm telling you. You're going to get yourself in a lot of trouble. It don't get no realer than that. Y'all better listen to me.